The Stop Drop Gaming's F1 show is brought to you by Stop Drop Gaming's F1 section, supporting F1 2015 on Xbox One and F1 2014 on Xbox 360. League spaces are available. Visit stopdropgaming.com today to sign up.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Stop Drop Gaming F1 show. Tonight I'm joined by EJ. Hi EJ.
Hi guys.
Stuart.
Hello.
Callum.
Hello.
And Steve.
Good evening.
The Silverstone Grand Prix this weekend saw one of the most exciting races of the season, in which we saw Williams show the world how to lose a Grand Prix in fantastic style. What was your opinion of it, Callum?
It's not the first time that they've done it, though. They've pretty much done what they did in Austria last year, so...
How did you see it, Steve?
How did I see it? Well, it's a Rob Smedley super show on the team orders front, is it not?
I think it was, wasn't it?
So if you go all the way back a couple of years to Fernando is faster than you, we saw a lovely way of how to maneuver a teammate in front of another, and everyone was like, don't like it. And that was at Ferrari. Go back to 2002, and you've got Barrichello moving over at Austria on the start-finish straight to let Schumacher take the victory. So I was thinking about it, and I was thinking, why am I so pro team orders for this event? Why was I so opposed to it previously? And I think it's because it robbed us of a brilliant Grand Prix. So I don't know how you guys saw it, but how I saw it was Bottas in P2 was faster than Massa. There's no doubt about it in my mind. And why? And do I think that they should have gone racing? Yes. Do I think that the team should have made the call to let him pass? Controversially, yes. The reason being is because the Mercedes, in my opinion, was that much faster that we were robbed of Hamilton chasing down Bottas. So I definitely think Williams lost the opportunity. Okay, the weather would have probably screwed them over, but I think they lost the opportunity of at least a podium, if not a win. And I was quite disappointed, so much so it's the first time I've ever gone to Twitter and Facebook to slate a team, and I slated them. That being said, Smedley, I thought, did a wonderful deflecting job when Sky,
an amazing job.
When Sky interviewed him, and he looked like, well, you saw Ted Kravitz when he was during the race. I'm not really looking forward to asking these questions. I'm going to have to ask Williams. The whole world knew they cocked up. The whole world knew.
Oh yeah.
And Smedley had to stand there and say, no, we didn't. And he squirmed so badly. So I think a round of applause for Rob Smedley for managing to squirm. Well done, Rob. Well done. I'm probably going to share this on the actual Williams Facebook page as well. So when you listen to this, if you listen to this, or any Williams personnel, you've got a really good diamond there in Rob, because he defended you guys to the absolute teeth, but you cocked up.
Wait, can I just add one thing? They did one right good thing that whole weekend, and that was the double stack and pit stop, which they managed to pull off to perfection.
It wasn't exactly a double stack. There was a good 5-10 seconds between the two cars.
Yeah,
leaving
true,
going. But it was a double service swap, went pretty well. I was just waiting for the awkward for AJ Cole. Felipe, the thing is, Valtteri is faster than you. The thing is, no one would have blamed the call at the time if it worked completely. If it worked, no one would have questioned it.
But the thing is, we saw Red Bull in Monaco do that to perfection. They let Ricciardo pass Kvyat, and then when he couldn't make the pass on the car ahead or do what the team wanted, they make them switch back. And I think that kind of driver respect, you could say again, team orders, my God, you're taking away the spectacle. But it's the what could have been that we lost.
Well,
and that's why I'm so upset about it.
They could have just said, effectively, let Valtteri through. But then it's down to the drivers. Then it's quite quickly, you could have had a Mark Webber situation on the radio, multi-21.
No, but if you've spoken to your drivers properly, as they obviously did with Red Bull, and they were all singing off the same hymn page, then that situation wouldn't occur.
Oh yeah.
If Valtteri had passed and couldn't pull away, then legitimately Massa could have the priority on the pit stop. Because I don't know if you saw the interview with Massa afterwards, but Massa was absolutely adamant, no, I wasn't holding him up. All he was doing was catching me under DRS. That's crap, in my opinion, because around the complex, Bottas was all over him. Absolutely all over him.
Yeah.
And I felt that Massa was deliberately taking the wider line before the old start-finish straight to defend, not because that's the line he wanted
get
to.
That last 0.1 of a second, then the move could have been done.
Yeah, but that's my thought on it. And it's, as I said, it's the what could have been, which was Hamilton chasing down, which is where he's the best. Let's be honest, Hamilton not sitting at the front, but actually under pressure and having to do. That's when he does his job. You know, that's when he's at his best. And I think that's what we lost.
Except in Austria.
Well, but then the Austrian track's a different track to Silverstone, isn't it? It's wider to start with. There are different multiple lines that you could take.
I think we could sit and debate this all night, but I think we should all agree that Williams made a massive error and cost themselves a podium, a definite podium, if not a win.
Can I just add, obviously we haven't got Mr. F1 Radio Callum with us tonight, but can I just add his point of what he said on this?
Yeah.
So he was actually there at the event, and he said Williams fought very hard, deserved a podium. Their car hasn't been very good in the wet the last 2 seasons, so when it rained, it was always going to be a struggle. Very happy they didn't use team orders. I think they should have gone for the undercut because it was obvious that was Mercedes' plan.
Moving on to our next point, Williams' error gave Hamilton effectively the win, which put him on equal Silverstone wins with Clark and Mansell. Does this put Hamilton in the greats yet? EJ?
Debatable.
If we say modern great, yes. But all-time great with the situations, no. He's only got 2 titles. He's got, what is he, 3rd now in poles? So,
yeah. He's only behind Senna and Prost, I think, isn't he?
Senna and Schumacher.
Senna and Schumacher.
It's a debatable club on whether you can join it or not. Would you put Vettel in there, who's quite clearly had just as much, if not more, success than him? Probably not.
Or would you not put him in there because you don't think he's on equal?
The thing is, the car was that far ahead.
No, it wasn't that far ahead. I mean, I think Mercedes are more ahead now than Red Bull were over the 4 years that they won those titles.
I have to agree with Ali.
Was Vettel ever contested, really, over the course of a full season by his teammate, aka the closest rival? No.
2010, Mark Webber. Yes, he was.
Yeah.
One time out of his 4 titles.
Yes, but then it's because Vettel was the golden boy over at Red Bull, it's debatable as to whether Webber ever got equal treatment, even though Christian Horner always maintains that they did. You know, you go back to not bad for a number 2 driver when Webber won the Silverstone event that year. You know, it's, as I say, it's debatable. There's no doubt in my mind that Vettel took full advantage of whatever situation was going on for 4 years straight. And it used to be said in the 90s, and I think this is what Eddie Irvine said, you know, you either won in a Newey car, a title, or you were Michael Schumacher. And that was at the time. And Adrian Newey, very well-renowned man for making very, very capable and decent, aerodynamically sound race cars. And as I say, Vettel took great advantage of those four years. It's only just about now that we're starting to see, probably now he's at Ferrari, that he can, you know, justify the bits and pieces that he did for those 4 years, I would suggest. Now he's in a different vehicle.
I think the test of a good driver is will we be talking about him in 20 years' time?
I think we'll be talking about Hamilton. I think we'll be talking about Hamilton.
I'm sure we'll be talking about Vettel as well.
And in my opinion, as Alonso. The fact that he's only got 2 championships is still quite a shock to most people with how close he's come with the machinery that he's done it with. He could quite easily have 5 titles at this point.
Yeah, I have to agree with you, Stu.
Because 2007, that was down to the last race. He lost, I think it was 11 and 13 on the last race due to, one due to an error, most definitely, in strategy. The other, can't remember at the time. Yeah.
No, Schumacher let Vettel through in 2013 to get him some points because it was a safety car at the end.
So it's still, I think he's one of those drivers that you'll say in 20 years, but you haven't got many.
You can't really compare drivers from this era to different eras because the machinery were different. You can't compare, say, like Fangio to Hamilton because the cars that they drove completely different.
And you have to think when Fangio came in, he was probably older than most of the current F1 field now.
He was 40 when he started, and he finished at 50.
Did we miss his peak? Most probably. So you have to think if everyone was on an even playing field, peak versus peak, who would be where? It's still debatable. Yeah.
I think one last point probably for me is it's always on your peers as to how you're judged. And you've got people like Sterling Moss that are still singing the praises of the people gone by, and also they're putting Hamilton in that same conversation for his ability to do over the one lap. So I agree with you all. You can't compare generation to generation, but I think there is definitely a mutual respect for what people such as Hamilton and Vettel are doing now with the machinery they've got.
I think every era has its few names that everyone remembers.
Moving on, unfortunately I missed it, but there was an interesting fight between Bottas and Rosberg during the race. How did you see the race? How did you see it, Callum?
I remember vague bits of it. It was quite an interesting battle and stuff.
You see, what I saw on the telly was brilliant. So you've got at this point Hamilton has managed to take the lead through the undercut, and you've got Massa in second, and you've got Bottas has just come out of the pits, and he comes out alongside Rosberg, and they're pretty much side by side through every bend, through the whole of the first sector, through the complex, and finally Bottas just gets ahead. And I just thought, for how close they were and what was on the line in a supposedly an inferior car, the Williams, I thought Bottas did a really good job of literally just fighting tooth and nail with Rosberg and to hang on to that position. So at this point in the race, you've got World Championship leader Hamilton leading, and you've got Nico Rosberg in P4 because of that. So it was really on the line for Rosberg at that point. Rosberg had it all to lose, and I thought Bottas just literally kept him so honest. It was a fantastic piece of driving from the pair of them.
You have to think, by the way he drives, could Bottas quite easily be a future world champion?
Oh, definitely. In the right machinery, yes.
In the right machinery, indeed.
I think we all.
I think he'll get signed up by Ferrari next year. I think he'll take Raikkonen's seat.
I will think 2017.
The thing is,
but 2017 is when the big rule changes come in, and I think
they're
they
gonna
want to get him in the car for a year first before.
So you're saying a similar situation to where Hamilton jumped in 2013. He got used to the car somewhat. He was involved in the development process.
I think that would be a smart move from Ferrari.
The thing is, I don't think Raikkonen's going to keep his seat. The way he was driving at the start of the season, feasible. But the way since Europe, no.
No, let's face it, I don't think Raikkonen's going to be driving Ferrari next season.
I think after the first 3-4 races, we thought, okay, if he carries on at this rate, he's had a good start, he's pushing Vettel, but no, not now.
Anyway, moving on, we've got a very interesting subject next. I'm sure EJ will be very interested to talk about this subject. Verstappen, after the safety car came out and went back in again, Verstappen made a very silly move and lost it.
Yeah.
Did you? What did you think of it, EJ?
It's debatable. It said on the form that I read, on the site that I read, that he was surprised by the win, but it's debatable. But it was a stupid mistake, a rookie mistake.
Is that just an excuse? Is he just inexperienced and not able to handle restarts?
No, not that. Because he proven already that he could. But I think it's just a rookie mistake.
Well, a rookie mistake would suggest that he can't handle the restarts. He may have been lucky in the past.
No. He can't handle the restarts because he already shown that because there were safety cars before. But I think this was
just a rookie mistake. But where was the mistake? What was the mistake he made?
I think going on the curb.
I can point out the mistake because the way he's driving and stuff and the way he lost his cars is awfully similar to what happened with Raikkonen. He's essentially just lost the temperature in the hard tyres. He spun.
And that's exactly what I think the foolish gamble was. The foolish gamble was the fact that every other car started on the correct tyre and Verstappen went for the hard tyre. He was the only one on the grid that went for that. And had there not been a safety car, I think he may have been fine. But I'm completely agreeing with you.
But the tyres got below operating temperature.
Yeah, and I don't care how experienced you are, as it's been proved with other drivers. if that car slaps, that car snaps. It's one of those, it could have either been an absolutely genius decision, and he would have been on the fast tyre for the end of the race, or what happened
You look
there.
like a Verstappen.
Yeah, you look like a Verstappen.
Wait, no, because I don't know if they knew about the weather earlier or something, but on the basis of the racing stuff, his tyres would have lasted until the rain came. So in theory, he would have not necessarily needs to go onto the open tyre. He would have had to make one stop the whole race.
That's why I said it could have been absolutely genius, because the rain came I think at just before lap 40. I think lap 36, lap 37, and the optimum pit lap was something like lap 43. So yes, I'm with you. It could have been absolutely brilliant, but it wasn't, and he looked like a mug. So an interesting view from Mr. F1 Radio on Verstappen. I will not complain about the incident because I have a piece of his front wing now, as well as a piece of Will Stevens after his crash. So managing to dodge completely the question, Mr. Callum, Mr. F1 Radio, has 2 bits of front wing. Have a look on the forum, www.stopdropgaming.com. Perhaps you can make a bid for some of his pieces of his front wing.
I'm going straight to the forum right now. Moving on to another mistake, if you can call it that. Lotus again, a Lotus driver again got in another bit of a scuffle with his teammate and ruined not only the Lotus's races but also half the McLaren team. Where was the fault, Steve?
Oh, really? Really, you're going to start with me? How many times when we get together and talk about the Grand Prix do we talk about Lotus and their drivers? It's so frustrating. It's so frustrating. Overzealous move, clearly, wasn't it? Over-aggressive. Alonso nowhere to go, pitches his car into a spin, hits buttons out, at his home Grand Prix. It's frustrating is the word. We talk about this every 2 weeks. Why can't they put a decent, not decent, that's disrespectful, a different driver into that Lotus and see how they can do. There are other people out there perhaps that may not have the financial clout but maybe have earned the opportunity to have a go in an F1 car, and they don't do it. And of course, Lotus are about to be Lotus are about to be wound up, aren't they? They've had a court order this week to be wound up because creditors are chasing them for money. So it's quite clear to see why the drivers are in the car. But for a viewer, for a multi-million-pound sport, it's so frustrating to see that. They'll blame I think it was a Red Bull or something like that for collision. I don't know. I didn't see that. But when you see the Lotus, you assume that something's going to happen. I mean, if you're on track and you're coming up to a Lotus, you're on seat of your pants anyway, driving a Formula One car, so we're told by experts and whatnot. But how much do you feel when you think, Jesus Christ, there's Pastor Maldonado again? What's going to happen this time?
There's a website, Has Maldonado Crashed Today.com. It's quite clear. Today. He hasn't today, so the world is safe, but it's quite clear the fact that no other driver has a piss-take website like this, taking the mick out of them just for a sheer amount of crashes.
Although, if you look at the bottom of that website, there is now a website for hasmclarenhonda1yet.com.
Jesus fuck.
Actually, on the subject of McLaren Honda, did anyone read the comments from Ron Dennis on Eddie Jordan?
No.
Yeah. Something.
So Eddie Jordan is laid into the McLaren management for the state of the situation they're in, and Ron Dennis has come back quite brilliantly. And I'm a Jordan GP fan, I was for years, and Eddie Jordan is a bit of a Rembrandt, really, isn't he? But Dennis come out and basically said, I see Formula One like villages. Every village has a village idiot. I think Eddie Jordan fits that criteria perfectly, or something to that effect. It's brilliant. It's literally, he's done it with such a straight face in the interview as well. And everyone in the lounge at my house was just pissing themselves laughing when he was saying this, because he's so angry and he's just channeling it into this very straight set of words.
I've just seen, because apparently after the British Grand Prix, it's turned out that Ron Dennis has said quite openly that he believes Jenson Button will be staying with McLaren Honda for 2016.
Button's getting fired then.
Yep.
Yeah. And also, the second line in that article says that Dennis also claims that McLaren's car is one of the best in F1.
No. That's not quite what he says. What he says is all the data says in the corners the car is one of the fastest. That's what it says. We don't have access to that data, but you'd have to say that when it did get wet and where the engine power wasn't so crucial, the McLaren wasn't too bad. I can't say Honda because according to Callum, who was there, Mr. F1 Radio, he said after being trackside, the engine sounds very unhealthy indeed all the time when compared to the other engines. The car looks a real handful all of the time with the drivers fighting for control. And that's down to drivability, one can assume. But the thing is Dennis has actually come out and publicly said that, and in the same sentence has basically said, "But we need a company like Honda with the resources of Honda to be able to turn this round." So
when are they going to provide that engine?
2017, when the new rules come in.
There were also rumours that Lotus being taken over by Renault.
No, wait, wasn't it originally Renault? Then it went to Lotus Renault.
No.
Then it went to whatever.
To my knowledge, the order goes Benetton, Renault, then it was like Lotus Renault, then it was Lotus, now it's
So basically, it's essentially a very large love triangle.
Now, this team dates back to the Tolman days, I believe.
Correct.
Don't quote me on this. That Bernie Eccleston used to own the team.
Correct.
So they've been around as Tolman in whatever guise ever since then, since the early 80s, 83, 84, something like that. So for this team, even the creditors have come out and said that they're a lovely bunch of people. They just need to pay their bills. So it's silly, isn't it? But,
it's the critical part.
It's the critical part of it. Yeah.
Anyway, I think that's all we've got time for tonight. Hope you enjoyed the show. Thanks for listening, and if you're interested in joining us for the next F1 show, we normally record on a Tuesday night and around 8 p.m. Please also check out www.stopdropgaming.com. We run regular leagues on F1 2014, F1 2015, Project Cars and Assetto Corsa on a variety of platforms. Please check our forums for more info on how to sign up. Thanks again, and goodbye.
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 Bye.
Good night.
Or good day.
I think a round of applause for Rob Smedley.